Mental health after 60. Wisdom from those who've been there. Did you know that 1 in 4 people over the age of 60 experiences serious emotional exhaustion at least once, and often has no idea it's happening? Not because of trauma, not because of illness, but simply because the soul is tired and no one noticed. On the outside, everything looks calm. The person is quiet, doesn't complain, but on the inside, emptiness, constant anxiety, loneliness, a growing feeling of not being needed anymore. This is called a silent fall. It doesn't show up in test results, but it's often the very thing that steals joy from life after 60. Mental health isn't just about psychiatry. It's about finally getting deep, restful sleep, thoughts that don't crush you, a memory that stays with you, and a heart that still feels safe to live. In this video, we've gathered wisdom from older people who've walked through loss, loneliness, long, heavy days, and yet they kept their minds clear, their souls light, and their will to wake up each morning. You'll learn how to keep your mind sharp in a world full of noise and chaos, what to do when it feels like you don't want anything anymore, and which small, silent actions can heal the soul without needing words. Stay with us until the end, because sometimes what we call old age is simply a soul that's tired and never learned how to rest. First advice: learn not to stay alone with a bad thought. After 60, it's not just the body that changes, the space around you shifts too. There are fewer conversations, fewer responsibilities, less noise, and in that silence the mind starts to speak, but not always kindly. Old mistakes, losses, fear of what's next, comparisons to who you once were, questions that have had no answers for years. You may sit in silence for hours, but your mind isn't silent. It spins the same thoughts, day after day. Those who've kept their mental health strong in old age say one simple thing: never stay too long alone with a thought that eats at you. This doesn't mean running away. It means giving the mind a new direction, a new meaning, a new source of focus. What can help? 10 minutes of conversation, even about simple things. A walk with a gentle question in your heart. What if I were young today? Writing your thoughts down, just to get them out, or speaking out loud what's been building inside, even if no one is listening. This isn't weakness, it's mental hygiene. Just like we brush our teeth, we must clear out the obsessive thoughts, because if you don't stop them, they turn into sleepless nights, high blood pressure, constant anxiety, apathy, and most dangerously, the loss of will to live actively. Those who preserve inner balance don't let dark thoughts become permanent guests. They've learned to see them and not feed them. They say, "This isn't me, it's just a thought, and it will pass." Second advice: don't let the body stay still when the soul wants to move after 60. Many people feel their bodies slowing down. Less strength, aching joints, a weaker heart. And then comes the temptation. I'll rest today, I'll go for a walk tomorrow, maybe later when I feel better. But those who've kept their clarity of mind into old age say, the body is like a flame. If you don't fan it, it fades. This isn't about exercise. It's not about training or performance. It's about movement as a form of care for the mind. Because when the body stops moving, the brain begins to slow too. Anxious thoughts pile up, vision dulls, the soul feels stuck in one spot. But when you move, even slowly, something small yet powerful happens. Blood begins to circulate. The brain gets more oxygen. Thoughts clear up. You feel, I am alive. Anxiety begins to ease. Older adults who walk just 20 minutes a day are less likely to experience depression, sleep better, and, most importantly, feel like they're in charge of their day. And it doesn't have to be outside. Even moving around the house, stretching, tidying up, gardening, all of it wakes up the body. And with it, the mind. Because a mind that stays still starts spiraling. But a mind that moves finds new paths, even in old age. Third advice: allow yourself to feel, but don't live inside the feelings after 60. Life already knows what pain is: loss, disappointment, loneliness, fear, guilt. These emotions don't disappear, they simply grow quieter, but deeper. And many older people begin to think, I shouldn't cry anymore. Why complain? Everyone's struggling. It's embarrassing to say it's not my body that hurts, it's my heart. But wise elders say something very different. If you don't live through an emotion, it will live through you. Uncried tears don't vanish, they turn into anxiety. Unspoken anger turns into high blood pressure. Buried fear becomes insomnia. Silenced resentment wraps around the heart like a belt. Mental health in old age isn't about being calm all the time. It's about knowing how to feel and then let go. Here's what those who've been through a lot recommend. Don't be ashamed to cry when your soul needs it. Don't run from anger. Speak it, name it. Don't keep fear locked inside. Talk to someone who won't laugh. Don't diss your own emotions with, "I'm old, it doesn't matter." Because that's exactly when they become heavier. Emotions are meant to flow like water. If they don't, they stagnate, and stagnant feelings turn into poison. So don't be afraid to feel, but don't build a home inside those feelings. Let them pass like clouds across your sky. Fourth advice, don't let just anything into your mind after 60. The mind becomes more vulnerable. Not because it's weaker, but because it's already full of experiences, memories, stories lived and felt. That's why what you watch, read, and listen to affects you far more deeply than it did in youth. Wise elders often say, an old soul can be wounded even by a television screen. News filled with fear, loud talk shows full of shouting, social media showing only youth, speed, glamour. All of it can quietly plant feelings of anxiety, irrelevance, and irritation. Even if you don't notice it right away, your body does. Your sleep becomes lighter, your memory feels foggy, your heartbeat speeds up, a strange tiredness appears without explanation. The advice is simple. Filter what you allow into your mind. Don't start your day with the TV. Don't fall asleep to the news. Don't scroll through your phone if you feel worse afterward. Choose words, shows, music that lift you, not weigh you down. In one village, an elderly woman once said, "Every morning I listen to the silence because silence doesn't lie." That too is self-care. Not just for your thoughts, but for your nervous system, your heart, your sleep, and your spirit. Protect your peace, because at this age, peace is medicine. Fifth advice, find a few minutes each day to simply be, without a goal, without a task, without movement. After 60, we often hear, stay active, keep moving, stay in shape, don't stop. And yes, that's helpful, but only up to a point. Because the wise say, the body moves well when the soul has rested, and the soul only rests in stillness. The mind of an older person is always working, worrying about health, about children, about yesterday, about tomorrow. Even in sleep, the brain doesn't fully shut off. That's why a daily moment of inner stillness is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Not for prayer, not for planning, not for checking things off. Just to sit, to breathe, to listen to the silence. Even 5 minutes without your phone, without TV, without what's next, is like pressing the reset button. In that moment, the heart slows down, the nervous system softens, the mind shifts from worry to awareness, and the body releases the hidden tension it's carried all day. It can be in your chair, in bed, on a bench in the yard. What matters is, you're not being still for a reason, you're just being. Wise elders have said an old soul without silence wears out twice as fast. But one who sits in silence each day carries a light that never fades. That silence is the medicine, not for disease, but for the deep tiredness of simply being alive. So, here are the 5 pieces of advice from people who haven't just grown old, but stayed clear, calm, and rooted in themselves. Don't stay alone with heavy thoughts. Move, even when you don't feel like it. Feel your emotions. Don't bottle them up. Filter what you allow into your mind. Listen to silence. It heals more than words. These are simple things, but they are the ones that keep the soul open and the mind bright. If you've listened this far, maybe don't just remember these words. Try one of them today. Because mental health after 60 isn't about not losing your mind. It's about staying alive on the inside. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss what comes next.